Apprenons le cha-cha-cha. Le cha-cha-cha.
A few people mentioned the board that they can see behind me in my office in my latest update video, so I thought I would go into detail on some of the analog productivity tools that I use to keep myself on track and to keep those to-dos getting done. So this board is not a SWOT analysis, it's not a Gantt chart, it is not Kanban, it is no kind of format, I don't have any kind of ascribed ethos when it comes to productivity. This is just what works for me, and I needed 4 sections, so I just took some camera tape and I threw 4 sections onto that whiteboard. It's kind of hard staring at a whiteboard to come up with the graphing and the shapes and where things go, so I figured if I give myself a little bit of structure, it might help me getting things on the board where they need to go. Okay, super simply, top half is client work, bottom half is wood and graphite. Those are my 2 main focuses at the minute, so I thought have them on a board, make it nice and clear what I'm doing and how. Even more simple, both halves are the same. They're just different focuses. So left side is all about leads, next videos, what's coming up, what are we gonna do. Right hand side is for what I'm working on right now. So for the top half, that means client work. What am I doing? Where is it? What deliverables have I given? Are they on the first draft, second draft? Have I edited? Have I shot anything yet? Bottom half, very, very similar, but for wood and graphite. What's released? What have I done thumbnails for? What's coming up? Where is it gonna be? Who's gonna see it? At the minute, everything is wiped clean because I've just finished all my major projects, but you know, in the middle of a busy week, this thing will be full of notes, and that's fine because it keeps me on track. It's very visual. I can just look around and go, that's what I need to do. That's where it is. The other thing that I use a lot are these little books here. These are just little black memo books from a company called Tiger, and you can get 3 of these for £1. So they're really, really cheap. And I like them because they're like fake leather and they're super cheap and they're small as well. I mean, that's the size of my watch. They're very not big at all. Analog to-do lists aren't a new thing for me. I've been doing them for a while, and I find that they work best for me just because it's immediate, right? I have an app, I have phones, I have all this kind of stuff. I've tried them all, and this is the best system for me because I can just take this pencil and I can just go, boom, to do. It's a lot harder to write watching a camera screen than your own hand, by the way. But if I write that down, then it's a very simple thing. Did I do it? Yes. Boom. Done. That's the best signifier of productivity I've ever seen. That is the thing I needed to do, and this big black line is me crushing it. And if I didn't do it, what I get is this horrible X. Which means, hey, guess what? You didn't do such a good job today. Move that to tomorrow. And do it then. So it's a very visual medium. It's very kind of immediate. There's no messing about with apps and reminders and that kind of thing. I have this book and I have a page per day and the date is on the page. So if I did those things, I can look back and say, hey, guess what? I did pretty good last week. Why am I sucking today? Now these notebooks are just the most recent iteration of how I do analog to-dos. I used to have these are index cards, and I used to use these. Now these are pretty fun. This is like a year's worth of index cards, by the way. I used to use an index card per day and just literally fill it back and front with stuff that I needed to do and punch holes in it when you get bored. I'd fill it with stuff I needed to do and then do it. Very similar format, but the index cards, they're great for carrying around in your pocket and stuff like that, but not super practical for keeping them together. You gotta get these bulldog clips. It's just a hassle, man. It worked for a while and then it didn't work, and I wanted something a bit more sturdy. So I have these notebooks and these work great for me. I have a whole bunch stacked up because they're super cheap and they work great. I have this really interesting idea for a gallery exhibit or like an art project or some stupid thing like that, where I take all the to-do books that I've made, all the index cards filled with stuff, and I just put them on the walls and just show people, hey, guess what? This is 5 years of my life. This is 5 years of everything I've ever done for my business, for my life, for my work on the walls. It's not the work. It's everything you have to do to get the work done. It's kind of the art behind the art. I don't know, maybe that's really dumb, but to me it sounds like a really interesting idea to see all the little things that went into making the big things that you see. Because you don't see to-do lists. To-do lists are just like a practical utilitarian thing that you use to get an object or a piece of art or a video or whatever. You don't see them in themselves, but I think it's kind of interesting to see all the stuff that I did in a day. So yeah, that'd be kind of fun sometime. Maybe I'll scan them all and you guys can read through, unless there's something horribly incriminating like bury body or, you know, flee the country or something in one of them. So you've seen my whiteboard, you've seen my to-do books. This is the final piece of my analog productivity puzzle. This is just a legal pad. This is an A4 legal pad, which is the same as letter. It's slightly bigger than letter paper for Americans, but same difference. I've got my whiteboard for all the kind of projects that are coming up and working on and what state they're in. I've got my to-do book for tracking literally what am I doing, when am I doing it, how am I doing it. This is a different role entirely. This book is kind of like brain dumps. This is how I get information from my head onto paper, and then it goes from paper into cameras, and it goes from cameras onto computers, and it goes from computers to your eyes. Right in there. The way I use these books, these legal pads, is that I just write stuff on them. Like, it's really not in any kind of order or fashion. It's just lists, it's just diagrams, it's just hastily scribbled scrawls. See this? Legal pad and pencil? Those are the two most formidable tools that any person can be given. You can do almost anything with these. And I really like just having them on hand. I keep this in my bag at all times, and I'm always with a pencil, don't forget that. But, I mean, at the minute, what you're seeing here, this is a sneak peek at all the different STUB videos I have planned, all the different things I want to make. And I just, last night was like, hey, that'd be pretty fun. And I just threw out 14 different ideas. So I'm going to shoot a bunch of them today. I don't know if you saw my book. I'm going to try and shoot 8 of them today. Let's try and count to 8. Yay! Insane compared to my normal schedule, which is 1 video every month. So this is super cool. This lets me get ideas from my brain onto the page and then realize them from the page into life. The best thing about this is that it doesn't matter. You know, I'm not trying to impress anyone with this. This isn't a document that's going to someone like, oh, well, you didn't align the paragraphs correctly. It doesn't matter. This is a scratch page. This is for me only. This is like brain dump. This is how I get information into a visible, realistic, tangible form. So this legal pad is kind of just like the staging ground. This is the jump pad from which ideas go from the ephemeral to the real. I like having a bit more space. The good thing about a to-do book like this is that it's small, right? I can just, that is your to-dos for today. All I have to do is these things, right? I don't have to do that amount. That's quite formidable. This is more achievable. But what it also does is focuses you. If you have more than that many things to do, you're behind, right? There's something wrong. So this is good for to-dos because it's limited. It's a skill relevant to the format of what you're doing. That is for big ideas. That is space to draw, to diagram, to build things with your mind. So there we have it, a little look at the analog productivity tools that I use to do the work I do. Sometimes you don't need an app. Sometimes you don't need a complicated system. Sometimes all you need is some legal paper and a notebook.